This is a tip I would give you if you were looking for a job or about your career. The tip is let people know that you're out there. Let them know you exist. I think we're slightly arrogant, maybe, that we feel people would know about us, not who we are, but that we exist and might consider us for a job or a promotion. And I think in my life that was faulty thinking. So as a photographer, the theory was this, incorrect, but this was the theory. You became a photographer at a small paper. You worked your butt off and you won a bunch of awards. And then when there was an opening at a bigger paper, the paper would call you and say, hey, we've been following you and we see you've won all these awards and why don't you come work for us? Then you would work at this bigger paper and then you'd win more awards, and then you would, when there was another great opportunity, they would call you and say, hey, why don't you come and work for us? And on until eventually you were at National Geographic magazine. That was how I believed it would be. I remember there seemed to be some people that happened with, and that was sort of the norm. That was what was expected. And I think that's so flawed. First off, the hiring is done by the HR department, so they don't know who you are. And I think you would be way further ahead if there's a job that you like. Instead of waiting for them to call you, they're never going to call. Well, they might call, but why don't you just apply? If you're interested, I was a photographer. I never applied at Time Magazine or National Geographic or any of these places. They had summer internships. I was waiting for them to call. They never called, and I never applied. And that was such a flawed thinking. You've got to let people know that you're out there, and you've got to let people know that you exist. You can't assume that they're going to have heard of you. And whatever genre of work you're in, again, my background was always photography, but you could send a postcard. You could let people know what you're up to. You could now people might use Instagram. People use Instagram so much that it might not be useful anymore. But you could send a postcard just to let people know that you're out there and start the contact with them. I think if you were, again, a journalist or a photographer, send a postcard to the publications you want. I'm sure no one else is doing it. If they liked it, they might pin it on their corkboard, and one day they might give you a call. I know it was tough in the early days for us. I remember when I had come back from Cambodia, there was a magazine, not Canadian Geographic, but Equinox. It was like a National Geographic type magazine in Canada. Did great work. And I went to the other side of the world into the jungle with Doctors Without Borders to come home and do headshots for them. You did all this effort to show that you could do it, and you get a couple of headshot assignments, like three a year. Nothing you could take to the bank for sure. Anyways, let people know that you're there, and apply for the jobs that you want. No one's really qualified for the jobs. Maybe if you need qualifications like, you need to be a physician or you need to have a engineering degree, then if you don't have it, you're not going to get the job. But the job requests are generally greater than the qualifications of any person. There's really no one available that meets all those criteria, I think. So why not apply? Give it a whirl and just see how it goes. You're really the reason you're applying is to get the interview. Why not give it a whirl? Why not throw your hat in the ring and let them know you're there? That's what I would do. I wouldn't wait around anymore for people to call. I'd bring it to their attention. That's what I would do.